guys, so today's video is part 2 of me doing my nails. In part 1 I did all of the bases, and now for part 2 I'm going to do all of the nail art. If you haven't seen part 1 and you want to see how I did all of these, I suggest going and watching that real quick and then coming back to this video. So as y'all know, I am doing an Alice in Wonderland set, and as of right now the bases don't really give that so much. I mean, they kind of do, and if you know that I'm doing an Alice in Wonderland set, you can kind of see Alice in Wonderland and see where I'm going with this. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do all of the nail art that goes on top of all of these today. There's gonna be some painting, some sculpting, some charms, and I'm gonna do it like I did for the first one, where I'm gonna switch over to doing a voiceover as I'm actually doing the nail art. Otherwise this video would end up being like 10 hours long, because I cannot talk and paint or sculpt or whatever I'm going to be doing at the same time. But yeah, I am going to do the nail art, and so none of these have top coat on them except for this one, because it has chrome on it, and obviously I wanted to protect the chrome that's on there and not have it all scrape off. I also have a top coat on this thumb and this pinky, because I just did some little like sponging technique here, and I noticed before that if I wipe off the sticky layer after I do this kind of technique, it wipes off a lot of the polish, just because with gel polish, the very top layer of gel polish, the reason why it's sticky is because it doesn't fully cure, because it's like exposed to the air and oxygen, so it doesn't allow it to fully cure. That's why it's still sticky. But then if you put another layer on top of it, it will cure and it won't be sticky anymore, which is so interesting to how they can make polish not do that, because you know we have no wipe top coats and stuff like that, and some like liner gels are no wipe as well. So I'm like, why don't they just do that for all gel polish? That way you don't have to deal with that sticky layer, because that can get really annoying. But anyhow, so because you're just sponging the color on, and it's a super thin layer, and like some colors do get layered and there are some that don't, like whatever's on the very top does get wiped away. So that's why I just went ahead and top coated the thumb and the pinky, because they were sponged on, very super thin layer of polish, and most of it would have got wiped away. All the rest of them I just wiped off the sticky layer and went to bed, because I did do these last night and I finished pretty late with them. So yeah, I just wiped off the sticky layer, went to bed. I usually do that whenever I do like start nails one night and then have to go to bed. I'll just wipe that sticky layer off. I've never had a problem with that. If you want to, you can obviously top coat if you feel more safe and secure with a top coat on them. But yeah, I've never had an issue with not top coating them, but also I don't go around with them not having a top coat. I will go to bed without the top coat and then get up the next day and start doing the nails. That way they're not going too long without a top coat and potentially getting scratched and messed up. But other than that, I am going to go ahead and get started on the nail art for these, and I am going to switch over to doing a voiceover because, like I said, I cannot work and talk at the same time. So on to the nail art. Okay, so to start off, I'm starting out with the teacup nail, and for the teacups, I'm going to use Royal Mint, Blueberry Icing, and Eggnog, all from Ballpit. I wanted the teacups to be like pastel colors and be very light in contrast to the darkness of the rest of the set. I also really wanted them to pop out from the base of this nail, which is very dark, like the dark brown and then the gold. I mean, the gold's not like super dark, but it definitely is like a darker looking kind of gold because it is up against that brown. And then I also used the brown stamping polish to get the chrome on the nail as well, so it does make it a little bit darker. So I just really wanted the teacups to pop out. Also, like when you think of like tea parties and stuff like that, it is very like light and colorful, very like springtimey-ish and like girly and all of that. So I did want the teacups to be light and kind of girly-ish, if you will. So the reason why I started over, as you can see here, was I did have a top coat on this nail just to protect the chrome, so the chrome didn't get messed up. I did mention that, like, in that little beginning clip there. And when I went to paint on top of that top coat, it was like really slippery and the polish just wasn't working the way that it should work whenever you're painting on. Like, it was very slippery and was just having a hard time gripping on to the nail. So I did wipe that off, and then I real quick just buffed the surface of the nail to roughen it up a little bit, so that way the polish did have something to grip onto and actually like hold on to the nail and stick to the nail. Also, I feel like the second time of me painting the teacup here worked a lot better than the first time. Also, I made it a little bit bigger. I felt like the first time it was a little too small. I didn't want them to be too big and like cover the entire nail because I did still want to see the background of it, but I also didn't want them to be super small. I did only do 3 teacups. I was thinking about doing 4 teacups on this nail, but then once I got the third one on, I realized the fourth one was going to end up like covering the entire nail, and like I said, I didn't want that, so I did just stick with the 3, and I felt like that worked really well, and it looked really nice with just the 3 teacups. Also, I only did 1 coat of these colors for the teacups. One, because it really just needed 1 coat. Ballpit colors are very pigmented, so you usually don't need multiple coats. It does kind of depend on like what you're doing and like the color you're painting on top of or whatever, but for this case, I didn't need a second coat on any of these colors. Also, you did see there real quick a couple seconds ago, like my phone with reference pictures of teacups. So while I do have my drawing sitting right there in front of me to look at and reference, I did want to have pictures pulled up on my phone that I could look at and go off of, because my drawings, they were very quick. I didn't spend too much time on them. I didn't put a whole lot of effort into them when I was drawing them, and I wanted to have as much detail as possible on the actual nails themselves. So that's why I have reference pictures pulled up, as well as going back to my drawing, so I can like look between the two and get all the detail that I want, and make sure that, like, you know, the nails are how I was envisioning them within my drawing and everything. So just having reference pictures is really helpful whenever you're doing any kind of nail art. And in between the teacups, each teacup got cured for 60 seconds because there is a little bit of overlap over the colors, and I didn't want to only flash cure in between each teacup, and then the previous layer has the potential of not fully curing, and I did want to make sure that all the gel that was put onto my nails was being fully cured. So whenever there was a situation where there was going to be more polish put on top, I would do a full 60-second cure. But if it was the final layer, or there wasn't going to be any more polish put on top, I would just quickly flash cure it before moving on to doing something else. And then I did take the black shading gel from Nails by Dev to add in that little detail there to show that, like, you know, it's a teacup and it's like has that open top there, just to kind of, so you can see that it is like an actual teacup and it is open and it's not like, you know, just flat or whatever. But then also to help me at this point where I'm filling the teacups with this red color, I think it's Bloodbath from Nails by Dev, so I can like know where to put it to make it look like, you know, the teacups are filled with like this blood. And again, I cured that shading gel for 60 seconds, and then I went in with this red jelly polish. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's called Bloodbath. You saw it on screen. It's also, everything is all linked down below in the description if you are interested in any of the colors or products that I am using. Just filled those in to get like the basic like blood filled look that I wanted, and then I did cure that for 60 seconds because I was going to go over top of that again with something else. But before doing that, I wanted to get the little designs on the teacups first, because what I'm going to add on top is, there was a chance that it was going to cover up the designs, so I wanted to get the designs on first. So I did like a little rose design on the middle one, I did some stripes on that top one, and then on the bottom one I did like some diamond pattern on it. And I didn't really put a whole lot of detail into the little roses because they're so small, and like that wasn't the main focal point of this nail, were like the designs on the teacups. The main focal point was just the teacups themselves and the fact that they were filled with blood. The designs on the teacups were just a little added extra detail, just to bring in some more detail onto the set, to, I don't know, just kind of enhance it a little bit. But like I said, those weren't the designs on the teacups weren't the main focal points, so I didn't spend too much time on them and like putting too much detail into them. And then once I got all those done, I was flash curing in between the details and moving on to the next cup. But then once I got the this cup done. I did do a full 60-second cure before going in with the next thing that I was doing, because like I said earlier, there was a chance of the next step covering up the designs on it. I wasn't really 100% sure what I was going to be doing there, but I did want to make sure that the previous layer of gel was fully cured before adding anything on top of it. So now I'm taking the Blood Effects gel from Nails by Dev. It's this really thick, like 3D jelly red gel. Oh my gosh, red gel that really looks like blood. And I absolutely love this. I've used it a lot since getting it. And I thought this was like the perfect addition to this set. I'm just adding it in on those little, like where I already have the red polish at, to kind of deepen it a little bit. I also did want to give a little bit of texture onto any of the nails that have like the blood on them. I do use this throughout the entire set on like all of the blood, because I did want to give a little bit of texture and I wanted it to look more blood-like with it. And then once I got that done, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. Here I am getting the polish ready for the cat design. So the white is the eyes, which I'm mixing Invisible Aqua Glow Powder from Solar Color Dust into it, so that way the eyes glow like that aqua blue kind of color that the cat's eyes kind of glow in the Tim Burton version. I think in the cartoon version the eyes are a different color. I think they're like yellow or something. I don't know. I said in part 1, it's been a while since I've seen either of the Alice in Wonderland movies, the cartoon version and the Tim Burton version. I was just looking at, reference pictures on Google or whatever. So the eyes are gonna be the white with the glowing, the Invisible Aqua Glow Powder, and then the teeth I mixed up like a cream kind of color. So I took some white and some yellow and mixed that together to get like that yellowy cream kind of color for the teeth. And then in that one I mixed white glow powder that I had bought off of Amazon. I thought I had white glow powder that I could use for this set, but I didn't, so I had to buy some off of Amazon. And I was like looking to see if there was any that could be delivered like overnight or whatever, and I found that brand. I wasn't 100% sure about this brand. I've never heard of it. I just went with like the first white glow powder that could be shipped overnight. So wasn't sure how that was gonna work. I was hoping that it would glow. I know the Solar Color Dust powder, like their glow powders work really well and they glow super bright. I love them. I highly recommend them. But that other one that I got from Amazon, I was not 100% sure. I was just hoping that it would work and that it was gonna glow nicely. We'll get to that at the end when I show you like the finished results and everything, and like how I felt about that glow powder. But anyhow, after I got all of that mixed up, I went in and started doing the cat face. So I started with the eyes, got those done. Once I got those how I wanted, I did go ahead and flash cure, and then I think I did the nose second, so then I could figure out like where to put the mouth. Yeah, I did go in with the nose. I used that same pink color that I used for the roses for the nose. Got the nose on, flash cured that. Then I went in with the cream color for the teeth and the mouth. And I'm not gonna lie, doing the mouth was a little bit difficult because, you know, this is a black background and I wanted it to glow in the dark, like, you know how the cat's face just shows up without his body sometimes, and it's just like this glowing face. I wanted it to look like that, so I was doing this all without any kind of outlines, and I was just going in with the teeth. And I was looking at reference pictures for this, and I had to, like, for the top row of teeth, like, do them so they were kind of curving up to create that, like, creepy smile that he has. And then for the bottom teeth, you don't see all of them. You just kind of see those ones that are in the front middle, which is what gives that really creepy, like, smile look. I don't know. This was just really difficult, and in between doing the teeth, I wasn't flash curing or anything because I wanted to make sure that it looked right before I cured anything on, because I've mentioned before, I'm in the part 1 video with the whole checkerboard thing, like, you know, making sure that everything looks right before curing and not having to file or buff anything off and, you know, doing all that. It's just easier to wipe it off and fix it that way rather than having to, like, file stuff off and having to potentially redo the entire nail. So all the teeth were uncured until I got them all on. Thankfully, this only took me one try to do. So while it was a little difficult and a little intimidating, it turned out really well the first time. And I mean, I could have redone it. I do think it could have been better, but at the same time, I didn't want to redo it because I felt like if I did it a second time, I wasn't going to like it the second time, and I was going to have to do it, you know, 3, 4, 5 more times before I got it. So I just went with the first one, and it turned out pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. I am happy with how it looked. I do think it could have been better, but I'm really happy with it. Then I cured that for 60 seconds, took some of that red jelly polish, put that on the teeth to, you know, make him look more creepy and scary and like he, you know, ate something or ripped something up or something like that, you know. Then I went ahead, cured that for 60 seconds, and then I can't remember if I did the pupils on the eyes first. No, I can see it coming up here. I mixed together his eye color, and I started by taking these 3 colors here from Ballpit, these jelly colors, because I am going to paint them over that his eyes, and I still wanted it to be able to glow, wanted them to be able to glow, so that's why I did the jelly colors. I started out with mainly green and then did a little bit of blue to try and get the aqua, because the blue is quite a bit darker, so I thought it was going to overpower the green a little bit more, but it wasn't, and I wasn't liking how it was looking. So then I did end up doing more blue with a little bit of green, and it gave me that like tealish aqua kind of color that I was looking for. Then I painted that on, cured it for 60 seconds, and then did the little pupils. I don't think I did the pupils on camera. There is some stuff, like some small, tiny little details that I didn't show on camera throughout this video because it is a super long video. These nails took me a long time to do, like total start to finish, from like removal of my previous set all the way to the final top coat on this set. It took me like, I want to say 12-ish hours. And most of it was just doing like all the nail art, the removal and the application of the removal of the previous set, and then the application of my hard gel and all of that only took me like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and the rest of the time, like the other 10-ish hours that it took, was all just like nail art and everything. So there was a lot. I had a ton of footage to go through. This entire video is sped up quite a bit, even though, I don't know, it might not look like it, because I do tend to move pretty slow whenever I'm doing nail art, especially when I'm using my left hand because I am right-handed. But yeah, this is all sped up. There are some, like I said, teeny tiny little details that were cut out, like doing the pupils and like the little details on the nose and like, I don't know, various other spots, where I cut out some of those teeny tiny little details that, you know, didn't really matter. But anyhow, after getting the cat face done, I went in with, I think I used the Angel White liner gel for this instead of using like the regular white gel polish. Same reason why I used the liner gel for that like double French look and the checkerboard nails. That way I wouldn't have to do multiple coats, and it was thicker and it like held its shape better. But anyhow, I'm just painting out We're All Mad Here. So the top is We're All, and then on the bottom is Mad Here. And I did it in like the Alice in Wonderland font or whatever, which was a little difficult. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I honestly hate doing like writing and like fonts and stuff on nails, because especially if it has to look a certain way, because it's a little bit of a pain to get it to look the way it's supposed to look, because it's way different than like my normal handwriting, and you gotta paint it a certain way and whatever. But anyhow, so when I did We're All, I didn't cure any of that as I was going, because again, I wanted to make sure that it was all spaced out right and it fit well, and I didn't want to have to, you know, file anything off. So We're All, as I'm painting it, is all uncured until I get both of those words completely on the nail and the way I wanted it. Then I went ahead and flash cured, and then moved on to Mad Here down at the bottom. And again, as I'm doing that, it's all uncured until I get both the words on and I have them on the way that I wanted. And then after that, I did go ahead and flash cure, and the words aren't glow in the dark because I didn't want them to show up in the dark. I just wanted you to see the cat face in the dark, just like how you would in the movie. So I wanted everything else to be, you know, completely blacked out in the dark. You can't see it, and then you just see his creepy little face there glowing. Well, just his eyes and his mouth, not his nose, because I don't think his nose shows up in the movie. I think it's just his eyes and his mouth that you see. I could be mistaken, though. I don't know. Either way, it's just his eyes and his teeth that glow in the dark there. Moving on to doing the painting on my right hand with my left hand, which, again, I am right-handed, so this was rather quite difficult. A lot of this is probably going to be like out of focus, out of frame, because when I'm using my left hand to do stuff, it gets kind of crazy, and I don't really focus too much on having stuff in frame or whatever, and I do have to like hold my hands certain ways so I can have my left hand steady enough to be able to paint, and like I need to see and all that. So I don't know. Things might get a little crazy and a little out of focus and out of frame on this hand as I'm painting. I know definitely towards the end of this video, a lot of stuff is out of frame and out of focus because, like I said, this part took me a long time to do, like 10-ish hours or so just to do all the nail art. Well, that's including the bases. Doing this, all the nail art that I'm doing in this video, it was about like 8 hours or so. And it was late and I was getting tired and I was over doing all of this because I had been doing this for so long and I was just ready to be done. So I was just trying to hurry up and get it done. Anyhow, this nail is the directional signs, like when she's in the forest trying to figure out which way to go, and they say like up, down, back, this way, that way, here, there, whatever. I think I did 3 signs. I might have done 4. No, I did 3. I'm pretty sure I did 3 because that was all I could fit. I'm just going in with the white from Ballpit to do this, and then I do cure that for 60 seconds, and then I will take some brown and do like little lines on it because I wanted the signs to look like they were wooden signs that were painted white, but the white paint was chipping off of some of them, so they were kind of looking old and weathered and whatever. And here's where things are, you know, out of focus, out of frame, because I'm doing this with my left hand and I cannot function, or like I can't paint very well with my left hand. It takes forever, and yeah, anyhow. So doing the white, cure that for 60 seconds, then I go in with the brown, and then I'll cure that for 60 seconds because I have to add more polish on top of that with the like little directional words and whatever. And if you're new here and you've never watched any of my videos or anything, like this is the first video you've ever seen from me, my videos aren't usually this long. I'm not usually doing both hands on camera because I typically have the same design on both hands. But with this set, I have like a different design on each finger. Same theme going across all 10 nails, but you know, different designs on all 10 of them. So usually you only see me doing my left hand on camera whenever I'm doing my nails, because I'm used to filming like that, like filming my left hand, and I'm better at keeping it in frame and in focus. I mean, I do go out of frame and focus sometimes in some of my normal videos, but yeah, typically my videos are not this long. I think this might actually be one of my longest videos. Actually, I think when I was testing out the Melodysusie acrylic, that's my longest video. Anyhow, this is one of my longer videos. They're usually not this long. I do like to try and keep my videos around 35-ish minutes. Every now and then I do go over. Usually not this far over. So if you are wondering, if you're watching this and you're wondering if my videos are usually, you know, an hour or longer, they're not. They're usually around 35 minutes or less. But like I said, there are a few, the occasional one that does go over and is like 45-ish minutes or whatever. And then you have the few in there that are an hour or longer. So I apologize to anyone that is watching this and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so long. You are free to skip around in the video, see whatever you want. I think there are chapters on my videos. I don't know. I do, whenever I'm uploading them, there is the section that is like automatic chapters or whatever. I do have that marked to where it does have automatic chapters, so I think there's chapters in my videos, but I'm honestly not 100% sure. Like, once they're, it's so bad. I should probably watch my videos through once they're uploaded to make sure that they uploaded right, but I don't. Like, they get uploaded and then I move on to the next video. Anyhow, but like I said, you can skip around, watch whatever you want to watch. You don't have to sit and watch the entire video unless you want to. That'd be really cool too. But you know, I understand. I'm the same way. Like, when a video is super long, I tend to jump around. Actually, usually what I do is I'll have the videos playing as I'm filming a video, because then it can just play and I can hear it and like glance over every now and then, or like watch it as something's curing. But yeah, anyhow, I understand sometimes long videos are a little much, but like I said, they're usually not this long. After I got the signs all done, I went in with that jelly red color. Actually, I might have went in with a normal, like, cream red color. No, I think I went in with that jelly red color. I don't know. This video was done, like, at the end of December. I'm just now getting around to editing it so it can be uploaded and all of that. They're also already off because I'm prepping for next month's set of videos, and like getting and like having my nails ready for when I do my next set. Anyhow, went in with the black, wrote the different directional words. I did up, back, and this way in the red, because I did want it to kind of look like it was written in blood. I don't know if it really comes across as like being written in blood, because I didn't really do any like drips or anything, but that was the intention, was for it to look like it was written in blood. I went ahead, cured that for 60 seconds, because then I was going in with that blood effects gel, and I went over some of the lettering to, again, give it a little bit of texture, try and make it look more like it was written in blood. I also did some little, like, splotches on the signs to be, like, blood splatter or whatever. Then once I got that, I did go ahead and cure. I think I just flash cured it. I was gonna say I cured it for a full 60, but I'm pretty sure I just flash cured it. And then there was a full 60-second cure at the very end after I got, like, everything on. But yeah. Okay, so I'm about 2 hours in so far on doing all the nail art. I stopped to take a little break, get up, stretch my legs, go to the bathroom, get something to eat and drink. When I do sets like this that take a really long time, or that I know is going to take a really long time, I do tend to get up every now and then to stretch out, go to the bathroom. That way I'm not sitting here for like 12 hours straight. But so far we got the little teacups done, the cat, with the "We're all mad here," and then the little signs. And so far, I'm really liking how this is coming out. Super excited to see how the rest of this goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back into it. So yeah, after my little break that I took there, I got back into doing the nail art, and I am back to painting over here on my right hand. The nail that I'm doing here, which you can't see because my fat hand is in the way, which is also another reason why I don't typically show me painting or doing my right hand, because my left hand is always in the way. Like I said, I'm not used to filming like that, so I don't really know how to hold my hands in a way to where you can actually see what I'm doing this way, whereas when I'm filming my left hand, like, you can see pretty much everything. I mean, there are times where my fat hand gets in the way, but it's not like this. Anyhow, on this nail, this is the playing card nail, like the little card soldiers that work for the Queen of Hearts or whatever. This one, the threes on it were difficult. You can't even see halfway what I'm doing. I think you can see when I do the second three, though. But yeah, the threes were a little difficult. I think I used Power Up from Nails by Dev for this part. If you didn't watch part 1, I did explain the entire set, and like I showed you the drawing that I did. But anyhow, if you didn't see part 1, this is going to be a 3 of Hearts card. I did the hearts because Queen of Hearts, and then 3 because that's my lucky number. So that's why it is what it is. But anyhow, I started with the 3, did that, and then I did flash cure the 3s once I got them on and the way that I wanted, because, like I said, that was a little difficult to do them the way that I did them. And then I did the little hearts under them, and then the 3 hearts in the middle. And then once I got all that done, I did do a full 60-second cure, because then I was taking that blood effects gel again and adding on some like blood splotches on there, because, you know, the cards are the ones that paint the roses red. Also, the Queen of Hearts, she is the one that says "off with their head," right? I'm pretty sure. So I imagine they're also the ones that are, like, you know, chopping off people's heads when she says that. So they probably are covered in blood. That's where the red paint comes from for the roses, probably, huh? I know, like, the Disney version isn't like the original version, because, you know, it is a book and like a actual written story or whatever. So it's probably a lot darker in the original, like, written version, and then, you know, Disney took it and made it more kid friendly, so they're like using paint. I don't know, I kind of want to read the story now to see how different it is from, you know, the Disney version. Anyhow, that is what's going on here with this nail here. I honestly probably should have cut some of this out, since you can't even really see it, but also, like, I'm going back and forth a lot, and like, you can't see at 1 second, and then I flip, and then you can see it in the next second. So I think I just left it all so that, like, you know, you could get glimpses of what's going on or whatever. But yeah, I'll just let this finish out, and then I'll come back whenever. actually forgot that I did this. I took one of those like nail scrubber brushes that you use whenever you wash your hands when you're like washing the nails or whatever, and I put some red polish on it. I think I took Sinister from Nails by Dev, put that on there, and then like smushed it around the nail to give like that blood spatter look. And then I took the blood effects gel and just kind of enhanced some of those little splotches, made them a little deeper with the, you know, different levels of the gel, and then also gave some texture to the nail because this is like a 3D gel. Also added some extra little splotches and splatters. This gel is also kind of stringy, similar to like spider gel, so I was able to like tap it on the nail and like pull it a little bit and get like strings of blood on there. And then, you know, once I got all that done, I did cure for 60 seconds. And after I did the splotches with the nail brush, I feel like I already said this, but if I didn't, I did cure that for 60 seconds. Then I went in with the blood effects gel, did all that, cured for 60 seconds. These are the stickers that I'm using for the white rabbit. I just did one and put that right in the middle of the nail. I got these from either Temu or AliExpress. I can't remember. But they're really cool. They're kind of like creepy little gothic bunnies. Some of them have 2 heads on them. You can see there's like stitching on them, and like there's some on there that are like cut open and you can see like the ribs and whatever on it. I thought these were really cool and they would fit in really well because, you know, the whole horror type of theme. And then I was seeing if any of these extra little stickers on here would work with the nail, but I wasn't really liking any of them. So I just did like I did on that playing card nail, and I did the blood splatter again. And see, I just paint the polish right on the brush, and then I tap it onto the nail to get those the little spatter. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. The splatter effect on there. And I did go in again with some of that blood effects gel and just added a little bit here and there. And then I am going in with all of the 3D sculpting that I'm doing. I decided to save this for last because it takes a long time, and like I have to put on gloves, and I didn't want to have to be, you know, going back and forth between having gloves and not having gloves. I just, you know, it's easier this way to save all the sculpting for last. And what I'm sculpting now are those little cookies that she eats that make her small, I think. I did mention that in part 1, how I can't remember if the cookies make her small or big, and then if the drink makes her small or big. But I'm pretty sure the cookies make her small and the drink makes her big. Or it could be opposite. I don't know. Either way, I decided to sculpt the cookies out with the 3D sculpting gels instead of painting them on. I just thought it would be more fun to have, like, you know, some 3D elements on the nails. So I'm using Fantasy Clay from Ballpit and Trippy Gel from Nails by Dev. Both of these gels do need like a sticky base to stick on, which I low-key kind of forgot because I don't really do a whole lot of 3D sculpting because it takes forever and it's kind of annoying. So you do see I am struggling a little bit to get the stuff to stick on. And then when I finally realized why, I put down a layer of base coat so that way there was a sticky layer on the nail, so that way the sculpting gels will actually stick onto the nail and they're not like trying to fall off or anything. So I don't know if you can see very well on that blue one up there. It does have like a white spot on it, and that's because I used alcohol to kind of smooth it out and refine like the edges and everything. And with using alcohol to smooth things out and blend out like your pieces and whatever, it can end up leaving white spots on your designs, which isn't really that big of a deal. You can apply primer to it and it will remove that, or you can just top coat it and it should go away. There have been times where it hasn't gone away when I top coated it, but for the most part it does go away. Otherwise, just like I said, apply primer to it first and then it will actually like make that white spot go away. But if you want to avoid doing all of that, you can use base coat to smooth out and blend out your little sculptures that you do with sculpting gel. I know Chrisania Neri, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She does all kinds of crazy little sculptures and everything with sculpting gel, and she has her own like sculpting gels and whatever. She does have like I think it's called like blending gel or something that you could buy. But also, if you don't want to buy that, you can just use base coat and it works. I don't know like what her blending gel actually is. And like what it's made up of and all of that. So I don't know, but I do know you can use base coat to smooth everything out. So you don't have to, go buy a specific product if you don't want to. But if you do want to buy it, then feel free to. But like I said, if you don't have it and you don't want to go buy a whole new product, you can just use your base coat and a brush and blend everything out, and you won't have the little white spots on it or anything. And then I did cure each one of those individually for 60 seconds just to make sure everything was fully cured. And again, you do want to make sure, since we're using sculpting gels and all of that, you don't want to be touching it with your bare hands. You do want to wear gloves. I know you can see me here struggling with the clear. Clear is always a pain no matter what you're using, because it is like the pure form of whatever. So when you have like clear polygel or clear sculpting gels, it's always going to be a bit more sticky. Why? From what I know, it's because it's like the pure form of whatever, and it doesn't have any added pigments into it or whatever. But I'm also like, can't they figure out a way to make it so it's not sticky? Like, I feel like the technology is there. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe someday we'll have, clear products that aren't a pain to work with and aren't super sticky and all that. But anyhow, if you do come across your gels sticking to your gloves and it's getting on your nerves, just take a little bit of alcohol, put it, on the gel, on your gloves, whatever. It will help. If you're still struggling with it sticking, I would suggest changing out your gloves. Technically speaking, with gloves, they do have to be like the nitrile, however you say it, gloves, and they also need to be a certain thickness in order for them to like actually work and actually protect you from like the chemicals and stuff within gel products. And even then, when they are that material and that thickness, you do still need to change them out after, like every so often, because the chemicals do break down the gloves and they do eat through it. Even though it doesn't, you won't see it, and you won't see like holes or anything in your gloves, but it does break down the barrier of the gloves. So you are technically supposed to be changing your gloves out every so often whenever you're doing all this, but whatever. So yeah, if you do experience the sticking and you're having alcohol on your gloves and on your gel, and like it's still being difficult to work with, change out your gloves, get a new pair of gloves, and then go from there. Also, try not to have it in your hands so much. Like, very quickly have it in your hands, get the basic shape, put it on the nail, and then use different tools to finish getting the shape, because your body heat warms it up and it makes it really sticky and hard to work with. So the less you have it in your hands, honestly, the better. So anyhow, I did the little bottle there with the drink and the label. I did end up having to make the bottle and the label longer later on, because I couldn't write drink me on the label. It was too small for me, so I did make it a bit longer so I could get it on there. Now I'm going in and doing the little white rabbit pocket watch on here. So yeah, I did the clear, I cured that, I just kind of flash cured that, and then I put the brown on. And then I did cure for a full 60 seconds because I was doing another strip of clear over the brown cork on that. And then cured that for 60 seconds because I did the little like black string on that. And then flash cured that, did the pink label, did a full 60-second cure to cure everything. Then for this one, I took the black, did like the little pocket watch face and rim and everything. And then did the little handle on it. I did not film that because it's really small and it was kind of a pain in the butt to do. And then after I got that on and cured it for 60 seconds, I did go in with the anti-chrome matte top coat from Ballpit and top coated the base of the nail, as you can see here with that, because I am going in with gold chrome powder and applying that to the watch to make it gold, and I didn't want the chrome to stick to the base of the nail. So got that on, cured it for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in with, I think it's the Varnail 2-in-1 chrome top coat, applying that to the watch, cure that for 30 seconds. Then I took my gold chrome powder and rubbed that all on, and then I took the white from Ballpit and painted on the face of the watch, cured that for 60 seconds, and then I did all the like numbers and the hands of the watch off camera because it was super small, kind of difficult to do. I needed to hold it really close to my face. And then once I got the numbers on, I did do a full 60-second cure. After I got the white on, I did a full 60-second cure. Then I did the numbers and the hands on the watch, cured that for a full 60 seconds. Also, after I got the chrome on, I did do a full 60 seconds because I only partially cured that top coat to get the chrome to stick. And if you're only partially curing gel to get chrome to stick, you do have to put it back in the lamp to cure for the full 60 seconds. That way you don't have any uncured gel on your nails, because obviously, allergies, all that, we don't want to do that. So make sure everything is fully cured. Then I took the clear trippy gel again and put that on for the face of the watch, or like the covering of the face of the watch. And it's kind of hard to see, but I did make it jagged so it looked like it was broken, like it got smashed. and like the glass was broken on it. You will be able to see later because I am going to add, the red on it to make it look bloody and all of that. But at this point right here, it is hard to see because it's clear on, all this, with all this going on behind it. So it's kind of hard to see. It was kind of hard for me to see even what I was doing because it was clear with all this going on in the back. But here you can see it better, the jaggedness of the clear trippy gel that I used now that I'm adding on the Blood Effects gel. Well, if I ever get back in frame. Also, for anyone curious, the clear trippy gel from Nails by Dev does cure rubbery. It's not like hard and solid like the other colors, like how the other trippy gel colors cure, which I know is common for like clear sculpting gels. They tend to cure rubbery. I think, and I can't say for sure because I don't have them and I have never tested them out or anything, but I think if I remember correctly from what they have said on their Instagrams and whatever, Ballpit and Chrisania Neri's clear sculpting gels, I think cure hard and not that like rubbery feel to them. But like I said, I could be mistaken, I could be remembering wrong, but I'm pretty sure those two say that their clear sculpting gels cure hard and not rubbery. So I don't know, you're gonna have to like go do your own research on that if you want to know. Someday I will have that stuff and like can test it out, but as of right now I don't. I just have the Nails by Dev one and I know that one cures rubbery. Then for the little drink bottle, I did want it to look kind of like poison, so I took that neon green color there, it's called Warp Speed, from Ballpit, and just painted that on to make it look, gross and poisony. Then I cured that for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in with the Squeeze Gummy Jelly from Nail Couture, which is just rhinestone glue in a squeeze tube. Applying that onto the nail because I'm going to add this gold chain that I got from Walmart on to this nail to, the chain for the pocket watch or whatever. I just kind of put the glue down in a squiggly line and then put the chain down, and I used a dotting tool to kind of push it around and move it around the way that I wanted. Went ahead, cured that for 60 seconds, and then I took some more of that Blood Effects gel, added that on to make it look, bloody and everything. Also to hide like the disconnect of the chain and the like handle on the watch, because usually if you see it in real life it would be connected, but because this is on a nail or whatever, I couldn't connect it the same way that it would be connected in real life. So kind of hide that, make it so you can't really tell that it's disconnected, and then just threw on some of this Blood Effects gel around on the nail just to add more of that blood in. I did some of those little blood splatters on the pinky nail here, which is supposed to be the Alice nail that represents her. And it was just kind of plain. I'm going to add a bow charm on top of it, but I'm like, I think it needs some of the blood to tie in with everything else and to, give it that dark, creepy horror feel. Did that, cured it for 60. I might have actually just flash cured it at that point. Then I added some more of the Blood Effects gel on the little drink bottle here and like surrounding areas, cured that. And then I think I started doing some stuff over on my right hand after this. Never mind, I lied. I put the bow charm on this nail. So I just took the squeeze gummy jelly, put it there where I wanted the bow, and then I went ahead, applied my shiny top coat, because this is how I always apply rhinestones and charms and stuff. I do the rhinestone glue, put the top coat right on top of it. That way I don't have to try and go around anything later on with the top coat and not get top coat on stuff that I don't want it on. Although I did end up top coating this bow later on because I didn't like that it was matte and there was nothing else that was matte on the nails. But anyhow, put that on, cured it for 60 seconds. Now I'm over here putting on the rose charms, which actually these charms I did get from the rose charms here I got from Dollar Tree. So check out Dollar Tree because they do have like nail charms and like rhinestones and stuff, which is really cool. So if you are looking for any, rhinestones and charms and stuff, you can check out Dollar Tree. It's very limited selection, and it varies, from Dollar Tree to Dollar Tree what you're gonna get. But I was able to find these at the Dollar Tree. The bow is from Amazon. I also had to order that from Amazon because I didn't have any black bows, and I ordered the bows and that white glow-in-the-dark powder at the same time. Got them overnight shipped so I could do this because I didn't have that stuff when I thought I did. So anyhow, yeah, the bow charms are from Amazon. These rose charms are from Dollar Tree. Although you can get them from like Amazon, Temu, AliExpress, all those places where you can get nail charms and stuff. Same thing, put the rhinestone glue, done the top coat, stuck the rose charms on, cured for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in again with the Blood Effects gel, applying that onto the roses to make them look like they were painted red with the blood. This Blood Effects gel, you don't have to top coat it. It does, however, cure with the sticky layers. So when you're finished, if you're not top coating it, you do have to wipe off that sticky layer with alcohol. But if you do want to top coat it, you can obviously top coat it if you want. But like I said, you don't have to. For this set, it is top coated on all of the nails except for this rose nail here because I didn't want to try and go in between all of the like rose petals and everything and like get the top coat on the red parts. So all I did was wipe it off with some alcohol and left it like that. I didn't top coat it or anything, and it stayed really well on the nail, and it wasn't as shiny as all the rest that was top coated, but it wasn't like a dull matte look either. So yeah, now I'm just going in with my shiny top coat and top coating all of the rest of the nails, and then I do cure for a full 60 seconds. And like I said, I did end up top coating that bow, but I did it off camera because I didn't like that it was the only thing that was matte. I wanted it to match with the rest of the nails. And yeah, at this point I was ready to be done, so I just top coated everything with shiny. However, the original plan was to do a mix of matte and shiny because like I wanted the cork on and the label on the bottle to be matte. I also wanted like the direction signs to be matte and like the cookies to be matte. But I was over it. I was ready to be done. Everything just got shiny top coat and it looked fine. I do think it would have been really cool to have like the difference between stuff like with the matte and shiny top coat and have that contrast between stuff, but it also looked really good being all shiny. I was really happy with it. And I also did make sure to top coat that chain so that way it wasn't going to tarnish with wear and like washing my hands and everything. So if you do have any metal parts on your nails and you don't want them to change color and tarnish, you do want to make sure that you are top coating them as well. Make sure you top coat them really well, because even if you just do like one layer and you think it's good, you may have missed some spots, so you do kind of want to go over it a couple times and like make sure it's on pretty thick. That way, you know, it's not chipping off or anything, and you make sure that everything is completely covered. And then I went ahead, top coated my right hand, and then cured that for 60 seconds as well. And here are the finished results finally after like 6 hours. I am so happy with these. They're so cute. I love them. I absolutely love them. They definitely give like horror Alice in Wonderland vibes, which I love. I absolutely love this. They're so cute. They came out way better than I was expecting, honestly. But I'm super happy with them. I'm so happy with them. They're so cool. I love them. So let's see. We have this thumb here with the White Rabbit's pocket watch on the swirl background. I really love this. I think this nail is my favorite nail. It came out so good. And I love how it looks. And then we have the teacups. The spilling teacups. This one came out really good too. I like the contrast of the gold and like the pastel colors up here. That's really pretty. I was contemplating doing 4 teacups on this one, but then I was like, kind of want to leave this space so I can see the pattern that's back here. Otherwise it would kind of all be covered up. And I really like how the background looks. Then we have this one that says "We're all mad here" with the Cheshire cat's face. This one's so creepy. The face came out really well. And it's supposed to glow in the dark. Hopefully it does. We'll look here in a minute. And then the little drink bottle that says "Drink Me," writing that on that little pink label there about "Took Me Out." That was so hard. But it was so worth it because it came out really well. And then we have the Alice nail. I really like this white, like double French kind of design. I don't even know what it's called. But I really like this design. But with as big as this bow is, I kind of feel like it gets lost and you don't really get to see it. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should have just done like a French tip. I mean, you can see the white on like the sides and a little bit behind the bow. But I don't know, I do like this nail and I love that design. But also I'm kind of like, I do wish you could see the white a little bit more on there. And then we have the roses painted red. This one's cool too. And then we have the little direction signs. These ones also about took me out with writing all of those, especially doing that with my non-dominant hand. And then the little eat me cookies. This one low-key gives me like Five Nights at Freddy's vibes. I think just like these bright colors and then like the checkerboard background and the blood and stuff. I don't know. But still, super cute. That star was a little bit of a struggle. And then the Three of Hearts card with the little blood spatter all over. This one's probably my least favorite just because it's kind of plain and boring. There's not a whole lot going on here, like it's just some hearts and threes with some red splattered all over. But I like it and it fits really well with the theme, so. And it was fairly easy-ish to do with my non-dominant hand. And then this one with the white rabbit and the little blood spatter all over. This one's a little boring too, but I think it's really cute because I love the sticker on it. The little bunny sticker. Oh, my finger. The little bunny sticker is so cute. I've been dying to use those stickers since I got them, and I finally got to use one. So cute. I need to use the rest of them and do something weird with those. And then all together, they look so good all together. It's so funny though because like they all have like blood all over them, except for like these two. These two are pretty tame. I mean, I know the teacups have like the blood in them, and then I did the red on the teeth, so it looked like, you know, he ate someone or something. Well, this one also doesn't really have too much of the blood going on. I mean, it's on the signs, but. And then all the rest is like all over. But I love this set. It came out so good. I'm so happy with it. I'm glad I finally got to do it. I've been wanting to do this set since October when I did the Bloody Bride set. I think I mentioned that in part 1, how I got the idea when I did my Bloody Bride set, and I had the rose, the white rose charm on it, and then I like did the blood all over it. It was reminding me of Alice in Wonderland and how the Queen of Hearts wanted the roses painted red. And I was like, ooh, a horror Alice in Wonderland theme would be really cool. Yeah, I'm so happy I finally got to do these. I'm so happy with how they came out. They're so chaotic, which is nothing new here. If you've been around long enough, you know I like to do chaotic nails, especially on myself. I do whenever I try to do like the press-ons. I try to do a variety of stuff because, you know, not everybody likes the same thing, so I do try to do a little bit of everything, so there's a little bit of something for everyone. But when it comes to doing my nails, I do whatever I want whenever I feel like, and it's usually something chaotic. But I'm so happy with these. Ugh. I'm gonna be staring at these non-stop for the next 4-ish weeks that I have them on. I cannot get over this pocket watch. That came out so good. I'm so happy with that. That's, like I said, that's my favorite nail, the pocket watch. Y'all will, oh, hair. Y'all will have to let me know what your favorite nail is out of all of these. And I'm gonna throw in some finishing shots of them in the different lighting with the flash and the direct sunlight. And then I'll get this one glowing. Hopefully it glows. But I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. I hope it glows. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, I am super happy with how this set came out. I think it came out really well. As far as the glow in the dark on the cat face, you're gonna see a clip of that here in a second. It did glow really well, which I knew the eyes were gonna glow well because it's that solar color dust powder, and like I said, that powder glows super well, super bright. That white powder that I got from Amazon, however, it does glow pretty decently. I do have some other glow powder that I have from Amazon that glow really well too, but this white glow powder that I got from Amazon, it glows all right. It's nowhere near as bright as any of the other glow powders that I have. I was noticing it was taking a little bit longer for it to charge up compared to the blue one on the eyes. So you can see it here. It's not glowing as bright. It also does fade a lot quicker than the solar color dust one. Also, I was noticing, like, just even at night when I'm going to bed, like the eyes would glow super bright, but like you couldn't really see the teeth even after like being outside all day or whatever, and like being in the light and stuff. So that white glow powder, it works all right, but it's definitely not the best. There's definitely better glow powders. Like I said, solar color dust is the one that I highly recommend because it works so well. They have so many different colors. But yeah, this set was really fun. I really enjoyed doing it, and it was fun to wear. This set actually got me the most compliments that I have ever gotten on any of my sets that I've ever done on myself, which I thought was really interesting because the theme of the set and just how it looks, I'm like, it's interesting that a lot of people are loving this set because it's so dark and grotesque almost because of the blood, but I don't know, a lot of people were loving it. But that was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.